Y'all, I'm in love with my iPhone 11 camera because it's showing like everything. Look how my hair is like black on one side and then you see all the brown. My roots and stuff. But anyway, first of all, how are y'all doing during this COVID-19 season? Interesting, right? So interesting times, but I'm glad that this happened because I feel like it's eye-opening. It brings a lot of awareness, and like I want to go buy a bicycle and just go ride around the neighborhood with my kids. You know, it's a lot of things that I'm sure a lot of people talked about doing but never found time to do it, or found all of the excuses to not do it, and now like they have no choice because there's no work, the kids are home, and you know, all of these plans and things like that. Like I realize all of the things that I've taken for granted during this season because we're forced like to stay inside. We can't travel, we can't, you know, do a lot of stuff now. So I know this is going to change the world forever in how things are done. But, you know, we got to do what we can, and we have to pivot, you know, like we can't do things the same way anymore. And speaking of not doing things the same way anymore, I'm sure you probably become aware of that as a mom, if you're married, as a wife, just in relationships, period. Just being the person that you've been, and you realize that, okay, I have to change maybe my mindset, or I can't do this the same, I can't move the same, I can't make the same decisions, I can't think that what I've been doing is going to work for everything, for every part of my life, because that's not the case. Because I'm sure now, with all of these changes that has impacted the world, we realize that who we have been as a person, and all the excuses that we've been making, or the things that we've decided to lean on and trust in, and the people and our jobs, and you know, just decisions that we've made, and things we've said yes to and things we've said no to, has come to the light, right? So I'm saying that because, you know, I've been struggling, and just struggling personally, because even during these times, like how we respond to this could either make or break us. And I'm always talking about the way we respond to situations. And right now, like I was already going through something, you know, especially my marriage, like, and just struggling financially. And every time I make steps forward, I end up going backwards somehow, or, you know, my momentum is lost. Like when I just had my baby, she'll be 2 months in a couple days, and that pregnancy just threw me off. So I had a good momentum going, like on, you know, my passion, my ideas, like what I wanted to do when I was doing the podcast, and, you know, had good content. My mind was good. I was creative. Like I was just on a roll. And I realized that at that time that was attracting people to me. Like people were coming to me because of my consistency and, you know, doing my Fearless Money stuff. And I told myself last year, once I picked back up, that I was not going to lose that momentum again. But when I got pregnant, I was so sick. Things were still going okay. I was so sick. And then, like, you know, a lot of things started to shed light, you know, on certain situations. So school, it was back to school. I was super sick, being pregnant. And my marriage is just, you know, it's not in shambles, but it's just, the thing is, like, my marriage has been struggling from day one. It's just now I've made the choice not to take it that way anymore. I was very passive about everything. So imagine just I'm passive and my husband is passive. But I lost my momentum. in the very thing that I loved doing, and that was doing YouTubes and recording podcasts and just creating content and sharing and being a help to other people through my content. And that was attracting people to me. That's how I got my mentor. She's $1 million person. Like, she has all of the connections in the world. She reached out to me. So, I go back and I think about, like, what was I doing at that time to attract all these people? I got my mentor. I didn't have to go look for her. And she's in my field and industry that I want to be in, doing things exactly the way that I want to do it. And then I even got speaking engagements. Like, people reached out to me about that. And I knew I was doing the right thing the right way. But like I said, I lost that momentum because my pregnancy kind of took me out. And then I was still trying to, fix my marriage when one person, if two people are not on board, it can't be fixed, right? So I was trying to still fix my marriage, which is what I had been doing since the day we got married. Even the reason I got married, I thought that would fix us, and it didn't. So I just lost focus of myself again. And it just threw me off track. And that's not my first time going through this. But now I feel like I'm having the hardest time, because what I've noticed is that when I get off track on something that I love doing, and I'm focusing actually on one thing, when I'm trying to pick back up, it's hard for me because I get distracted by so many other things that, I could be doing this, or I could be doing that, or should I be doing this? And I know when I start to question myself like that, it just stresses me out, and I still get nothing done, which stresses me out even more. And then now that this COVID thing is happening, not using that as an excuse, but my kids are home, and I realize how I've taken advantage of the time that I did have when they were in school. Like, it's all the negativity that's trying to pop up. So anyway, usually when I get really stressed out, I draw back. And I want to go back and depend on things that gave me comfort. So I was in Sam's yesterday, and, a part of me is like, Crystal, just get a drink. A drink won't hurt you, girl. It won't. Just take a sip. And, that was one of the things, like, when I was in a really deep depression and I didn't even realize it. And this was like 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago. I mean, like, I was in a deep hole, y'all, and I had just moved into my apartment. We were just trying to move to Georgia, and that didn't work out. And, I could just feel how it felt when my husband came back from Georgia, because that's something that he's always wanted to do. So, you find yourself blaming yourself for different things, and without not even, you don't even realize it. But anyway, I was in the deepest depression of my life, and I was drinking every single day, not wine. Like, I was drinking liquor. I was drinking gin every day, and I was smoking, and I even started smoking marijuana, which nobody could have ever gotten me to do, ever. So that's how I knew that I was struggling, because I was turning to these things to give me comfort and kind of take me out of the moment temporarily. And God stepped in, and I caught myself, because I knew, my mind was like, Crystal, this is not you, and you have to stop. But every single day I would get home, I would pour me some drink, and I would go sit out on my porch, and I would just get tipsy and get high before I go to bed, because I wasn't sleeping. So that's what I felt like would help me sleep. And I did that for a few months. It wasn't ongoing, but it was a few months, and all of a sudden I had a wake-up call like, Crystal, you can't do this, because you're going backwards again. You want to go depend on the things that is not for you. Like, it was God, God was like, Crystal, I can't let you go down this path again. Okay, no, we're not doing this, And I thank God for that, because I don't even know where I would be right now, because I was smoking weed. Like, when I tell you, nobody could have gotten me to do that ever, because I was just afraid of getting high. Like, the thought of being out, like, not being able to control myself. Now, getting drunk, is never fun, but I will push myself to that limit of being too drunk. But it was giving me comfort at the time. And, you know, I was able to hide that. I was going to church. I was still involved. I was still, you know, that type of person. Like, depending on this feeling from the drink and stuff like that, and not leaning and trusting in God 100%. So he brought me out of that. And it's been a struggle because, you know, I had stopped for years, not drinking and smoking and stuff like that. So I was in a place where I couldn't, like, I felt like I just couldn't pick myself up. Like, nobody was giving me the words that I wanted to hear and needed to hear. Like, I just wasn't getting what I needed. And so I told my husband to go get me a bottle of gin and bring it back home, please. Now, I wish he would have said, no, babe, you can't. But, you know, when you got two weak people in a relationship, that's just how it is. And when both people are broken and struggling and just, you know, dealing with loss all the time, because that move didn't work out for us and it was just another loss. And we have been dealing with loss for a while. Like, when you lose something, this feeling of loss comes in so many different ways, and you just get disappointed. You fall into stuff. And I wish he would have been strong enough to say, no, babe, I can't let you do that. But it wasn't the case. So, yesterday I was in Sam's, like I was saying, and I've just been struggling again, y'all, like, because I'm tired of, like, being in this place where I'm just stuck. And when I know I'm moving forward, it's always hard for me to pick back up and just be me, which it should never be hard. But I'm just being honest, like, to be myself, and I know who I am. Maybe I'm afraid of who I really am, and I know what it's going to do, how it's going to change my life if I really just dive into who I am. And I think it's the change that's going to come along with that has me afraid of being myself. But listen to how stupid that sounds. Like, I shouldn't care who don't be in my life no more, who is affected by the fact that I'm being who God called me to be, because obviously those are the people. And I'm this way because when I wanted to be my authentic self growing up, that was suppressed through my parents. So I have always been afraid to just be who I am and be authentic and be transparent. But God has called me to speak. And if I speak out of my mouth, I have to speak the truth. Because if I'm doing what God told me to do, I don't need to act like anybody else. I don't need to, you know, say what certain people want to hear. And, like, I'm just going to do whatever God told me to do because he created me to be me, right? But I struggle with that because when you live a codependent life and you don't want to hurt people that you love so much that are not necessarily giving you the love in return or understand who you really are as a person, you just dig a deep hole and it sucks. And I went on the aisle and I picked up a bottle of wine. I did. Picked up a bottle of wine and I looked at it. I found the wine that I used to love drinking. I don't even drink wine casually because I'm just not there yet. Like, I don't feel like I'm there yet, because when I used to drink, if I drank any type of alcohol, I felt like I needed to be smoking something with that, right? Not drugs, but cigarettes or something. And I don't even do a casual drink. So I went on the aisle. I was like, I'm going to get a bottle of wine. You know, I went and picked it up, looked at it. It was the Roscato, the red Roscato. It's really good. Y'all know what it is. It's sweet. Yes. So, but I put it back down because I was like, Crystal, no. First of all, you're nursing still. And second of all, you're not going to drink this wine because you know where it's going to go with what you're going through right now. So put it down and just stay prayed up. Put the bottle down and I walked off the aisle. Because I can't let myself go back. Like, I'm just tired of going back. I'm already not moving forward in the way that I would like to. So why would I do something that would take me back? When I get to the point where I feel like I can have a casual glass of wine and that be that because I'm, you know, socializing and things like that, I'll do that. But right now, to pick up a whole bottle and take it home, I can't go back. I can't go back. And I know right now a lot of people are going back to these things that gave them comfort, because what they thought was their comfort right now has been snatched up from under them during this time, and they don't know what to do with themselves. I mean, people, even people in your life can be a drug and be something that you go back to because you're struggling. Like, it's crazy. Like, my sister and I had a talk like that the other day, and we were talking about, codependency is not just substance abuse or anything like that. It's even with people. So you might find yourself going back to revisit a person that you knew was not for you at the time, and you go back and say, hey, it's a text, and stuff like, even what's so crazy even now during this time is like, I'm struggling. I done went and picked up a bottle of wine, I put it back. Kudos to me. But even people in my inbox, like somebody came in my inbox that I have not talked to in years, and that person was just not good for me ever, never, and it's crazy how what'll begin to pop up in your life when you feel like you're struggling. When you need somebody to talk to, they popped up, and I'm like, oh, nope, bye. Oh, here's my number, call me. Nope. I got enough going on, thank you. So that's how I know my strength, like I am gaining the strength that I need. It's so crazy. But have y'all dealt with that? Please tell me. Like, you feel like you want to just go back to a thing or people or a place, and you don't need to. Like, just stay strong, remain strong in it. Just don't go back. Like, life is forward. Look forward and be positive. You might feel hopeless. You might feel like you're not going to get through what you're going through, but you will, sis, okay? So remember to glow. Remember to affirm yourself. Remember to do what makes you happy, because you can't pour from an empty cup. Go follow me on Instagram at crystalclayton_glows. I think I still have it like that. It's either _ or _ glows. But anyway, talk to y'all later. Just wanted to tell my truth. That's all.